We have anxiety because we can't choose fear. So, one of the reasons that a lot of us have anxiety, obviously, anxiety has multiple variables to it, but one of the reasons we have anxiety is because we're avoiding things or we're living our lives not in line with how we want to be living them. So that might be not doing what we want to be doing with our lives. Maybe that's being mistreated in a certain way, not speaking up. There's a misalignment between your values and how you're living. And your mind is basically trying to tell you, hey, do something. But the reason that you don't do something is because you're scared of what that will lead to. So the consequence of that action feels really scary. Maybe that's quitting your job. Maybe that's telling someone that they're treating you poorly, right? Maybe, I don't know, it's going back to school, whatever is the action that would more align with your values. You're scared to do it. And so when we do this, essentially we need to choose between two states. And one state is the fear of that risk. And the other state is that constant anxiety of our mind nagging us that, we're not really aligned with how we want to be living. Like we're worried something's wrong. I always say that anxiety wants action. And one of the reasons we so often get stuck in anxiety is because we don't take action. And so your anxiety wants you to take action, but your fear is blocking you from doing so. And the problem is that a lot of us want some type of like beautiful middle state where we feel neither anxiety nor fear. But the thing is that you're actually going to have to choose one. There's no way out of it. And so you're either going to have to live your life with that nagging anxiety, or you're going to have to take that leap and go into the fear. And you might think, oh, won't I have worse anxiety if I take the leap and go into the fear and I fail? Actually, no. So what we know is that when people actually go into that fear, they take that risk, they take that big action, what they learn is that they're strong enough to withstand what happens next. Why do they know that they can withstand what happens next? It's because they do, right? So they go through it, they're still there, even if there's failure. You're teaching yourself you're strong enough. And that's one of the most corrosive things about anxiety is that it teaches your mind that you should be scared of this and that you're not strong enough. And I think that's a really detrimental thing to think about yourself. And you might not be thinking that actively, but you are essentially thinking that subconsciously. You're kind of creating that type of narrative about yourself. And so if you're overthinking, if you feel stuck, this is why. It's because you're kind of existing in these two states and you have this kind of like phenomenon where you want to have your cake and eat it too. You want to do this thing with your life or you want to make a massive change, but you also don't want to feel anxious about it, or you don't want to feel fearful about it, is what I mean. And so that is just not a possibility. Whenever we make a big change, whenever we make a big transition, we're going to feel a ton of fear, like a ton. And if you want to move away from your anxiety, you're going to have to move into fear. The cool thing about fear, though, is that it doesn't last forever. And so you'll feel fear, you'll do the thing, and then you'll have some type of relief. The thing about anxiety is that it will last forever if you don't align your life in a way that makes sense to you, that aligns with your values. So I think most people would choose fear, although I know it is really difficult. If you're in this type of position and you need support in a decision or in a transition, I encourage you to book an intro session, and this is something we can work on.